Hey, what's going on, everybody? How we all doing today? Welcome back. And why did I say welcome back? Because it's been the summer and I've been doing a heck of a lot of stuff. But with that being said, obviously, welcome to today's edition to the Gripe Session podcast. And hey, I also got some new swag too. So before we talk about any of the swag, before anything else, there's obviously a reason why I'm recording this podcast today. So let's get into it.
It's Gripe Session time with your host, George Wanaka.
It's about nothing.
Discussing everything from real estate, current events, a little bit of everything, and the annoying little things that just tick you off.
You can't handle the truth.
What? You didn't know?
Here's your host, George Wanaka.
Your ass better call somebody.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for checking in today, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, whether it be on a YouTube channel, whether it be on TikTok or Instagram or wherever the heck you're watching. I definitely appreciate the support of the podcast. I know I got some recent phone calls with people that say, hey, Wanaka, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but there's some people biting off of your shtick, if you will, with the gripes and coming out with a lot of different things. But as the expression goes, hey, imitation is the highest form of flattery. So ain't nothing but love for everybody out there. So with that being said, let's get into today's edition of the Gripe Session. I just got back and I was watching some of my friends on social media, and one of my friends, Jared James, a lot of you all in the real estate industry know Jared. He's a trainer out there, and Jared came out with something recently on one of his TikToks that was actually something that I said a long time ago. So one of the things that Jared said was, in case you happen to miss it, well, it was because of all of these lawsuits and because of all the things going on in the real estate industry, does it really pay for us real estate practitioners to remain being realtors? Now, I'm kind of in the middle on this, right? What do I mean by that is, I think Jared's got a great friggin' point here. I think there's not been a lot of transparency. I think that some of the processes of the organization needs to be completely overhauled. But more importantly, a lot of this stuff could have been avoided. Now, if you've watched me on other podcasts before, and on this podcast, one of the things that I've said is, I'm always the bad guy, because I'm always the guy trying to poke holes in stuff. And the reason I try to poke holes is not to make anybody's life more difficult. It's to make what we're trying to do as an organization better. And that's just not talking about from the national level. That's talking about the state level as well as the local level. So trying to come up with these things. But one of the things that Jared, as I led into earlier, had stated is, where is the benefit for an agent now to be a realtor? There are class action lawsuits actually now being filed by organizations to not have to be a member of the National Association. Because now the whole purpose of that was you had to be the MLSs now. Well, now it's opening up Pandora's box. And some of us, said this a very long time ago. 10 years to be exact. And with that being said, the question remains is there a main reason for your regular realtor or real estate professional to remain a realtor? Now, I do think that a lot of people are coming out with a lot of clickbait nowadays, and at the end of the day, that's not going to help the situation. What's going to help the situation is leaders have to really be leaders. And that sounds a little messed up. It's like, well, George, leaders are leaders. They're the ones that are put there by some archaic, in some cases, barbaric way of choosing who's a real leader and who is not. Some of those things, as we all well know, in different organizations across the board, there are things called politics. Not just what the swamp is down in DC, but within organizations as well. And yes, I don't care about it because I don't need to go down that road any longer. Now, if I was looking to go down that road at some point, you would never see this kind of an episode of the Gripe Session come out. Quite frankly, a lot of the Gripe Session was caused by people in my industry doing things that they shouldn't be doing, not being educated as to what the facts are, not learning about what's going on currently in this industry. And when you brought that to the organization, it didn't fit the criteria or the mind meld of what was going on. So I was like, well, we've never heard of that going on before. Well, it doesn't mean that it's not happening now. So my friend Jared made some really, really good points. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know. But what I do know is that conversation is going to get started a lot sooner than we all thought. And one of the things that I said a very, very, very long time ago, and I keep going back to that long time ago part, is that the biggest thing that everyone's going to be concerned about is the elimination of the three-way agreement. And for those of you that don't know what the three-way agreement is there is an agreement between the National Association, the State Association, and the local association, which basically says you join one and you join all. Well, in my scenario, I can tell you I get more from certain organizations than I do from other organizations. And that's just a fact, okay? And I could use my own scenario as a perfect example. It's been more difficult to do business in my state than it ever has, period. So what are some of those services that I'm not using that I can use previously? And again, I go back to 10 years from now. If that, and I said this in a meeting, and there's a bunch of people that were there, and a bunch of people have still reached out to me and said, you said this all of those years ago. And my response to it was, and I got hell for it. Because I did. Let's just be honest about it, right? I got hell for it. Because I was the guy saying what nobody else wanted to hear. And nobody else thought was ever going to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, what happens is people evolve. Things evolve. Ideas evolve. And you cannot run an organization today the way we ran it 20 years ago. The way we ran it when my dad was president back in the day. Can't be done. And you've heard me say this before. The people that do not agree with the direction of an organization is taking, that's a dues-paying member, need to be part of the discussion to try to figure out, is there a way of doing what you want to do better by listening to their ideas and trying to pull them into that idea. We hear nowadays about, a political process and who is going to be the great unifier based on your political party and and bring everybody together. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you, that's what we need. We need to bring the people together that don't agree on stuff to be part of the process. So the people that are making the decisions can hear the issues and figure out a way, can we circumvent that issue, or can we make that better of what we're trying to accomplish? Because right now, I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen, and I never thought I would hear myself say this, but I believe that realtors, or the term realtor, is going to be in jeopardy very, very soon if there is not substantial change. Perfect example, I wanted to make this video last week. I didn't have the time to do so, but another thing came out. Who's the new CEO of the National Associations? Nikki, right. Great. Or is it? Did we just talk about transparency? No member knew what was going on, and it's more of the old filling in with the new. So how does that work? And listen, I'll be 100% honest with you. I have friends that are in the higher ups of NAR, but the one thing that they know about me is I'm not going to be bashful. I'm going to tell you the truth, whether people want to hear me or whether people don't want to hear me. Because my job, if I am put in a volunteer position like I have been in the past, my job is to make things better, not make friends. My job is to represent the people and the membership to make the organization strong. That's what everybody wants. Because I think a strong association makes it better for us and the real estate consumer as a whole, because we're fighting for their private property rights. And trust me, over the last number of years, I know a lot of stuff has gone down that a lot of members that were very, very intricately involved in processes have said, I'm done. Now, do you think that that's good for any organization? Because I don't. Choice is up to them. That's really what it boils down to. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for dropping in on today's podcast. We definitely appreciate all the support. Do me a favor, if you're not already following me, you got to hook your boy up. Follow me on the social medias over here. Real GS Swanica on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. If you can't find me, you ain't trying real hard enough. And more importantly, make sure you subscribe to the Gripe Session Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you find us. Make sure you give us a subscribe. And we definitely appreciate it. Until then, I want to thank you for watching the Gripe Session. And remember, more importantly than anything else, make sure you do something nice for somebody that you wouldn't normally do. And we'll catch you on the next edition of the Gripe Session. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Gripe Session. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.